Naglandfall sa Hainan Province, China ang Typhoon Prapiron.
Ayon sa weather station ng bansa, nakaranas ngayon o nakakaranas pa rin na malakas na ihip ng hangin ang mga coastal areas and waters ng Hainan. Mga detalye ng balita, ibabahagi maya-maya. Magandang gabi, ako po si Ricky Matay.
At ako si Nina Richie Lago Flores. Ito ang mata ng Agila International para naman sa mga headlines ngayong Martes ng gabi.
Pilipinas at Estados Unidos sa katakdang mag-usap para palakasing ang alyansa sa July 30.
Bagyong Karina lalong lumakas. Signal number 2 itinaas sa Batanes.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dumating na sa Estados Unidos.
55 katao patay sa landslide sa Ethiopia.
And Olympic flag bearers ng Team USA inanunsyo na. Mag-usap ang Pilipinas at Estados Unidos para paigtingin ang higit 7 dekadang umiiral nitong alyansa. Gaganapin ito sa darating na Foreign and Defense Ministerial Dialogue o 2+2 meeting sa susunod na linggo.
Inanunsyo ng Department of Foreign Affairs o DFA na bibisita sina U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken at U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin sa Manila sa July 30. Ito ay para makipagpulong kina Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo at Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. Ayon sa DFA, ang inaabangang pagpupulong sa July 30 ay ang ika-4 na iterasyon ng ministerial dialogue sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at ng Estados Unidos. Ang pinakahuling pagpupulong ng dalawang bansa ay nangyari pa noong Abril ng 2023. Layo ng dalawang o 2+2 meeting na muling palakasin ang bilateral relations ng dalawang bansa at talakayin ang mga issue hinggil sa maritime defense at economic cooperation.
Haharap sa panibagong reklamo si suspended Bamban Mayor Alice Ko. Ito ay matapos magsampa ng reklamo ang 4 na panibagong testigo sa Department of Justice or DOJ. Nagbigay ang 4 ng bagong ebidensya na nag-uugnay kay Go sa iligal na operasyon ng Pogo sa kanyang teritoryo. Kasunod po nito ay nagsampa rin ng supplemental complaint ang Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group o PNP-CIDG at maging ang Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission o PAOK laban sa alkalde at sa iba pang sangkot. Ipinag-utos na ng DOJ sa nasasakdal na sagutin ang supplemental complaint sa darating na Agosto 6 sa pamamagitan ng pagsusumite ng counter-affidavits. Umaasa si Justice Undersecretary Nicholas Felix T. na magsusumite ang company ko ng tugon ukol sa dagdag na ebidensya ng PNP, CIDG at PAOK.
Nakahanda ang Department of Labor and Employment o DOLE sa pagbibigay trabaho sa mga maaapektuhan ng pagbabawal sa Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO. Batay sa isang panayam kay Labor Secretary Benvenido Leguesma, maghahanap sila ng mga nararapat na trabaho sa mga naapektuhang manggagawa. Dagdag pa ng kalihim, bukod sa mga trabaho na may kaugnayan sa livelihood programs, ay mayroon din silang mga local and overseas specific job fair. Matatandaan ay pinagbawal ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. sa kanyang sonang Pogo dahil sa mga krimen katulad ng torture at scams na may kaugnayan sa nasabing online gambling services. Samantala, patuloy pa rin ang pakikipag-ugnayan ng ahensya sa iba't ibang Pogo firms at internet gaming licenses sa bansa.
Nagpahayag na magandang balita ang budget and management para sa mga empleyado ng gobyerno na makatatanggap na ng health maintenance benefits. Sa isang panayam, sinabi ni Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman, it's almost 10 billion pesos or 7,000 pesos per employee per year po because we, government workers, do not have health maintenance. Dagdag pa ni Secretary Pangandaman, mahalaga ang HMO na ito lalo na sa panahon ng pangangailangan at makatatanggap ang bawat empleyado ng 7,000 piso kada taon. Hinihintay na lamang nila ang paglabas ng Pangulo ng Executive Order ukol sa pagbibigay ng pondo para sa HMO benefits sa mga manggagawa ng gobyerno.
Inihayag ng Department of Agriculture o DA ang plano na magpatayo ng mga permanenteng kadiwa stores na pinapatakbo ng mga kooperatiba ng mga magsasaka. Inanunsyo ni Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. na naglalayong magtayo ang ahensya ng 1,500 kadiwa stores sa loob ng susunod na 3 taon. Dagdag pa niyan, alinsunod ito sa mga direktiba ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. upang masiguro ang seguridad at mababang presyo ng pagkain sa bansa. Sa kalaunan, sinabi ni Laurel na mapapasailalim ang mga kadiwa stores sa mga kooperatiba para maiwasan ang profiteering. Ito ay sa pamamagitan ng direktang pagbenta ng mga magsasaka at mangingisda sa mga consumers.
Naglaan ng 42 billion pesos na pondo ang gobyerno para sa 2025 upang higit pang palakasin ang sistema ng irigasyon sa Pilipinas. Ayon po yan sa Department of Budget and Management. Sinabi ni Budget Secretary Amena Pangandaman na bahagi ito ng pagpapalakas ng sektor ng agrikultura sa Pilipinas. Sa ikatlong SONA, muling binigyan diin ni Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ang pangako ng gobyerno na magtayo at mag-rehabilitate ng mas maraming dams. Bukod pa rito, nakatuon din ang administrasyon niya sa pagtatayo ng mga solar-powered irrigation facilities.
Maiging minomonitor ng pag-asa ang bahagyang paglakas ng bagyong Karina sa loob ng ating bansa. Ayon sa datos ng State Weather Bureau, namataan ang mata ng bagyo sa layong 325 kilometers silangan ng Basco, Batanes, dakong alas 5 ng hapon. Gumagalaw ito sa direksyong Pakanluran sa bilis na 20 kilometers per hour na may lakas na 150 kilometers per hour at bugsong 185 kilometers per hour. Nagdeklara naman ang Storm Signal number 2 sa Batanes. Itinaas naman ang Storm Signal number 1 sa Cagayan, Babuyan Islands, silangang bahagi ng Isabela, hilagang bahagi ng Apayao at hilagang bahagi ng Ilocos Norte. Inaasahan na lalabas sa Philippine Area of Responsibility o PAR ang bagyong Karina bukas ng gabi o Huwebes ng umaga at posibleng maglandfall sa hilagang bahagi ng Taiwan. Susunod, Bangladesh Court inalis ang panukalang batas ukol sa quota system.
Netanyahu nagtungo sa US para sa Joint Session Congress.
At Secret Service Chief tinanggap ang batikos sa nangyaring pamamaril kay Trump. Iba pang detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Nakakalungkot po eh.
Bakit?
Nasunog po yung kanin. Naiwanan ni Tita Mocha yung stove nakabukas eh.
Yung wallet ko kasi, nakalimutan ko yata.
Ang bad news, Dad, wala pang gamot ang Alzheimer's.
Binago-bago ba nila yung mga paninda? Bakit wala na hinahanap ko?
Hindi ba dapat maghanap tayo ng isang ospital or institution na pwedeng maalagaan siya ng maayos?
Iaalis mo dito sa Tita Mocha? Teka. Alam niyo, naguguluhan ako sa sinasabi niyo. Bakit ba umiakap-akap pa kayo?
Wala na ba yung hinahanap ko?
O sa sama ugali niyo, nilagago kayong lahat ah!
Pati siya?
Hindi ko kamag-anak yan! Kamukha mo ba? Bakit, di ba? Bakit kayong kabanding? Ayoko na sa inyo!
together sa Net 25. Sa Net 25.
Milyong pasasalamat sa inyo mga ka-Net25 dahil umabot ng 1 milyon ang mga subscriber ng Net25 YouTube channel. Let's subscribe together here on Net25.
Sinisi ni Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina ang Bangladesh Nationalist Party sa patuloy na umiiral na karahasan sa Dhaka. Kasunod po ito ng pagbasura ng Supreme Court ng Bangladesh sa karamihan sa quota sa government jobs. Batay sa datos na naitala ng Bangladeshi government, higit na sa 150 katao na ang namatay sa girian sa pagitan ng nagpoprotesta at riot police sa Dhaka. Napilitan si Hasina na mag-declare ng nationwide curfew para sa kaligtasan na rin ng publiko. Subalit, tiniyak naman ito na aalisin nito ang curfew kapag bumuti na ang sitwasyon sa kanilang bansa.
Tinanggal na ng mataas na korte sa Bangladesh ang panukalang batas sa pagkakaroon ng quota sa mga trabaho sa gobyerno.
হাইকোর্ট ডিভিশন কোটা প্রথা বহাল রেখে 2018 সালের প্রজ্ঞাপন বাতিল করে যে রায় দিয়েছিল সেই রায়টি আপিল বিভাগ আজকে দীর্ঘ শুনানির পর হাইকোর্ট ডিভিশনের রায়টিকে বাতিল ঘোষণা করা হয়েছে। হাইকোর্ট ডিভিশনের রায়টিকে রদ ও রহিত করা হয়েছে।
Ang nasabing panukalang batas ay nagdulot ng malawakang kilos protesta na ikinasawi ng mahigit 100 katao. Nakasaad sa nasabing panukalang batas na ang inilaan sa mga kaanak ng mga war veterans ang mga trabaho sa gobyerno. Tuluyang nakalaya ang Bangladesh mula sa Pakistan noong 1971.
অ্যাপিলেট ডিভিশন আর্টিকেল 104 অনুযায়ী কোটা প্রথার একটি চূড়ান্ত সমাধান দিয়েছেন। সেই সমাধানটি হচ্ছে বর্তমান প্রেক্ষাপটকে বিবেচনা করে মুক্তিযোদ্ধাদের জন্য 5% থাকবে, সাধারণ কোটা থাকবে 93% আর 7% কোটা থাকবে। তার মধ্যে 5% হতে মুক্তিযোদ্ধা, তার সন্তান এবং তার পুত্রদের নাতি নাতনিদের জন্য, আর 1% হচ্ছে নৃগোষ্ঠী যারা রয়েছে, ক্ষুদ্র নৃগোষ্ঠী তাদের জন্য, আর 1% হচ্ছে প্রতিবন্ধী এবং তৃতীয় লিঙ্গ।
Ayon kay Law Minister Ani Sulhuk na ang nasabing panukalang batas ay mayroong nakalaang 5% para sa mga kaanak ng war veterans upang makakuha ng trabaho sa gobyerno. Isinisi naman ng gobyerno ang oposisyon na sila ang nagtulak ng kilos protesta na siyang sumisira sa kaunlaran ng Bangladesh.
এবং ছাত্রছাত্রীদেরকে আহ্বান জানিয়েছেন তারা যেন ক্লাসে ফিরে যায়, শান্তিপূর্ণভাবে ক্লাসে ফিরে যায়। গার্জিয়ানদেরকে আহ্বান জানিয়েছেন তারা যেন তাদের সন্তানকে বুঝিয়ে ক্লাসে ফেরত যেতে বলে, এবং শিক্ষার্থী যারা রয়েছে তারা যেন আদালতের প্রতি সম্মান রেখে তাদের এই আন্দোলন থেকে, আদালতের আদেশের প্রতি সম্মান রেখে তারা তাদের আন্দোলন থেকে সরে যায় এবং আজকেই যেন ঘোষণা দেয় যে তারা আর এই আন্দোলনের সাথে নেই।
Lumagda ng kasunduan ng mga bansang Zimbabwe, Mozambique at Zambia ukol sa isang cross-border initiative upang pamahalaan ang kanilang shared natural resources. JC Yumol para sa balita.
Sa Harare, Zimbabwe, pinirmahan ng mga kinatawan ng tatlong bansa ang isang Trans-Frontier Conservation Area Memorandum of Agreement. Ito ay isang cross-border initiative na nais pamahalaan ang shared natural resources ng Zimbabwe, Mozambique at Zambia. Ayon kay Zambia Tourism Minister Rodney Malindi Sikumba, ang kasunduang ito ay gintong oportunidad upang pagsaluhan ang kaalaman at kagalingan ng tatlong bansa ukol sa kalikasan.
The signing of the Zimoza MOA represents a golden opportunity for our three countries to enhance sharing of knowledge and expertise among ourselves on matters of managing human-wildlife coexistence. I will speak for Zambia. We have been hit, as many other countries within the SADC region, with this dreaded drought that we've not seen in many years. Zambia, for instance, lost close to 1 million hectares of white maize, which obviously poses a very, very big problem with regards to animals roaming around in search of food and otherwise.
Ayon naman kay Zimbabwean President Emerson Mnangagwa, kailangan palawakin ang infrastruktura, i-develop ang sistema ng pagbababala, pagbutihin ang pagiging handa sa sakuna, at paghusayin ang kapasidad ng komunidad na makabangon. Ito ay sa pamamagitan ng edukasyon at programang ukol sa kakayanan.
To accelerate climate action, we must expand the requisite infrastructure, develop early warning systems, improve disaster preparedness, and scale up community resilience through education and capacity building programs.
JC Yumul para sa Mata ng Agila International, trusted, connected, on point.
Inalis ng European Union ang karapatan ng Hungary na mag-host ng susunod na pulong ng mga ministro ng Foreign Affairs at Defense. Ayon kay EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell, ang desisyong ito ay dulot ng posisyon ng Budapest ukol sa digmaan sa Ukraine. Sinabi ni Borrell na ang kamakailang pulong sa pagitan ni Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban at Russian President Vladimir Putin ay dapat magkaroon ng mga kauklang aksyon. Samantala, inilarawan ng Budapest ang hakbang na ito bilang lubhang isip bata. Ang desisyong ito ay isang hampas laban sa Hungary na kamakailan lamang ay tumanggap ng umiikot na pagkapangulo ng Council of the European Union. Ang susunod na pagpupulong ng EU ay magaganap mula August 28 hanggang 30 at dapat sana'y idarao sa Budapest, ngunit inilipat na ito sa Brussels.
Nanawagan si President Luis Inacio Lula da Silva ng Brazil kay President Nicolas Maduro ng Venezuela na respetuhin ang mga resulta ng halalan na nakatakda na sa linggo. Sinabi ng Pangulo na natakot siya sa pahayag ni Maduro tungkol sa posibleng karahasan pagkatapos ng halalan. Dagdag pa niya na magpapadala siya ng mataas na diplomat sa karatig bansang Venezuela bilang tagamasid ng botohan. Sa mga nakaraang linggo, dumami ang mga pahay ni Maduro at ng kanyang mga kaalyado tungkol sa karahasan pagkatapos ng halalan. Ipinahayag nila na magsasagawa ang oposisyon ng mararahas na demonstrasyon at tatanggihan ang mga resulta na sinasabi ng naghaharing partido na magpapakita ng kanilang pagkapanalo.
Nilagdaan ng mga grupong Palestinian na Hamas at Fatah ang isang deklarasyon sa Beijing upang wakasan ang ilang taong higwaan. Ayon sa state media ng China, ito ay isang hakbang patungo sa posibleng paglutas ng malalim na hidwaan sa pagitan ng dalawa habang patuloy ang digmaan sa Gaza. Ang deklarasyon ay bunga ng pinakabagong serye ng mga pag-uusap na layuning pag-isahin ang Hamas at Fatah. Nabigo ang mga naunang deklarasyon dahil nagkaroon ng mga pagdududa kung ang mga negosasyong sinuportahan ng China ay magreresulta nga ba sa isang patas na resolusyon para sa dalawang panig. Ngunit paniniwala ng mga political analysts kahit tapos ng lagdaan ang kasunduan ay malabo pa rin na magkaroon ng isang post-war Gaza. Ito ay dahil sa tinututulan pa rin ng Israel ang anumang magiging papel ng Hamas sa pamamahala sa nasabing lugar.
Dumating na si Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sa Estados Unidos upang dumalo sa isasagawang joint session ng US Congress sa darating na Miyerkules. Ayon sa mga US officials, inaasahang makikipagkita si Netanyahu kay US President Joe Biden. Subalit hindi nila nilinaw kung kailan at saan. Nakatakdang makipagkita rin si Netanyahu kay Vice President Kamala Harris. Batay sa mga lokal na ulat, magsasalita si Netanyahu sa naturang joint session kung saan ay ito na ang magiging pang-apat na address ng Israeli Prime Minister sa US Congress. Bago pa lumipad patungong Washington si Netanyahu, sinabi nito ang plano niya sa kanyang pagbisita.
I plan to see President Biden, whom I've known for over 40 years. This will be an opportunity to thank him for the things he did for Israel in the war and during his long and distinguished career in public service as Senator, as Vice President, and as President. It will also be an opportunity to discuss with him how to advance in the critical months ahead the goals that are important for both our countries. Achieving the release of all our hostages, defeating Hamas, confronting the terror axis of Iran and its proxies, and ensuring that all Israel citizens return safely to their homes in the north and in the south.
Tinukoy din ni Netanyahu na ibabahagi niya sa kanyang speech sa darating na joint session ng US Congress ang bipartisanship ng Israel.
Nagbigay naman ng reaksyon ang mga lider ng mga bansang Brazil at Mexico sa pagbitiw ni President Joe Biden sa kampanya nito para sa pagkapangulo ng Estados Unidos sa Nobyembre. Narito ang report ni Benhard Gonzaga.
Isang araw matapos magpahayag ng pag-atras si Pangulong Joe Biden sa laban para sa eleksyon, sinabi ni Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva na umaasa siyang maging sibilisado ang magaganap na halalan sa Estados Unidos sa darating na Nobyembre. Ani Lula, sino man ang manalo, inaasahan niyang manatili ang magandang relasyon ng US at Brazil.
Então, seja candidato democrata, seja o Biden, seja o Trump, a nossa relação vai ter uma relação civilizada de dois países importantes que tem uma relação diplomática, sabe, de séculos e que a gente quer manter. E que temos parcerias estratégicas importantes com os Estados Unidos, nós queremos manter. Eu espero que vai ser assim.
Banggit pa ni Da Silva, naway walang magsapeligro sa simbolo ng demokrasya.
Espero que a disputa se dê da forma mais civilizada possível, espero que não tenha baixo nível, espero que não tenha nada que possa colocar o símbolo da democracia em risco.
Samantala, pagpuri naman ang naging reaksyon ni Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador para kay Biden. Sinabi ni Lopez Obrador na trumabaho ng maayos si Biden. At sa desisyon nitong itigil na ang kampanya, umaasa ang Pangulo ng Mexico na manatili ang magandang relasyon ng kanyang bansa sa Washington.
Entonces, ha hecho un buen gobierno el presidente Biden. En lo político, pues toma la decisión de no participar en la reelección. Eso ya corresponde a quienes son miembros del Partido Demócrata decidir. Nosotros vamos a seguir buscando mantener una buena relación con el gobierno de Estados Unidos.
Pinuri ni Lopez Obrador ang tagumpay pang-ekonomiya ng dalawang bansa dahil sa revamp ng North American Free Trade Deal sa ilalim ng administrasyong Biden. Bernhard Gonzaga para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Sa kauna-unahang pagkakataon matapos magbitiw ng kandidatura si US President Joe Biden, pinuri ni US Vice President Kamala Harris ang Pangulo na siya ring nag-endorso sa kanya bilang kapalit sa karera. Jeff Sanidad para sa balita.
Mula sa South Lawn ng White House sa isang pagkilala sa National Collegiate Athletic Association o NCAA Championship Teams para sa 2023-2024 season, pinuri ni Vice President Kamala Harris si Pangulong Joe Biden at sinabing saksi siya nito kung paanong ipaglaban ang sambayanang Amerikano araw-araw.
His honesty, his integrity, his commitment to his faith and his family, his big heart, and his love, deep love of our country. And I am firsthand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
Binalikan ni Harris ang alaala ng kung paano niya unang nakilala si Biden mula sa pananalita ng anak nitong si Beau. Ani Harris, ang mga katangian na hinangaan ni Beau sa ama ay siyang mga katangiang kanyang nasaksihan sa Pangulo.
And I first came to know President Biden through his son Beau. We worked together as attorneys general in our states, and back then Beau would often tell me stories about his dad. He would talk about the kind of father and the kind of man that Joe Biden is. The qualities that Beau revered in his father are the same qualities that I have seen every day in our president.
Noong 20 ng Enero 2021, nanumpa si Harris bilang Vice President ni Biden. Si Harris ang kauna-unahang babae, kauna-unahang Black American at kauna-unahang South Asian American na nahalal sa posisyong ito. Jeff Sanidad para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Duda si US President Joe Biden na kayang talunin ni Vice President Kamala Harris si Donald Trump sa pagkapresidente ngayong November elections. Ayon sa tatlong opisyal na malalapit kay Biden, nag-aalinlangan nga si Biden na talikuran ang kanyang re-election campaign dahil may pag-aatubili si Harris na harapin ang mga political responsibilities nito. Anila, maraming nag-resign sa staff ni Harris dahil hindi umano ito maayos makitungo sa kanyang mga kawani. Masyado raw kasing mataas ang work standards ni Harris. May mga pagkakataon din daw na kung makipag-usap ito ay parang prosecutor. May mga ulat din na lumabas na hindi team player si Harris at umiiwas ito sa mga risky political situations. Samantala, nakakuha ng sapat na endorsement vote si Harris upang maging Democrat nominee for president. Nagpasalamat naman si Harris sa suportang ibinigay sa kanya ng mga Democrat delegates at sinabing inaasahan niya na matatanggap ang official nomination sa lalong madaling panahon. Kaugnay nito ay hinikayat naman ni Republican Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance ang mga botante na huwag iboto si Kamala Harris. Aniya, parehas lamang ang record ni na Biden at Harris.
Say that we got to kick Kamala Harris out of the Oval Office. Don't give her a chance. Don't give her a chance to run away from the Biden record. The Biden record is the Kamala Harris record. And given what we know about Joe Biden, Kamala Harris probably did a lot more than Joe Biden does over the last 3.5 years.
Sa kabilang banda, bumuhos naman ang record amount ng donasyon para sa kampanya ni Vice President Kamala Harris. 24 na oras pa lamang ang nakalilipas matapos bumaba si Pangulong Joe Biden sa karera para sa White House. Narito po ang detalye mula kay May Fanway Zaragoza.
Ayon sa kampanya ni Vice President Kamala Harris, isang record amount na $81 million mula sa Democratic donors ang nakalap ng Team Harris sa unang 24 oras matapos siyang i-endorso ni Pangulong Biden bilang kapalit sa ticket. Ang halagang ito ay dagdag sa halos na $250 million na nakalap para sa election cycle na ito. Ayon sa Team Harris, ang halagang ito ay ang pinakamalaking naipundar sa loob ng isang araw sa kasaysayan ng pagkapangulo. Mabilis na tiniyak ni 59-year-old Harris ang suporta ng dagsadagsang Democrats matapos ang pag-endorso sa kanya ni Biden, ni California Governor Gavin Newsom at ni Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Si Newsom at Shapiro ay kapwang nagpipisil din na tumakbo bilang Pangulo para sa Democratic Party. Ngunit sa kabila ng mahalagang endorsements na ito, marami pa siyang dapat kumbinsihin. Donors na gusto ng bukas na labanan sa pagpili ng kandidato na itatapat ng partido kay Donald Trump. Sa kasalukuyan, tila napakalakas ng kanyang kampanya. Kapwa ang malalaki at maliliit na donors matapos ang pangangapa ng partido dahil sa debate performance ni Biden laban kay Trump. Isa sa major donors na nagbigay sa kampanya ni Harris ay si LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman. Sa kanyang social media, sinabi ni Hoffman na buong puso niyang sinusuportan si Harris bilang presidente ng US sa laban ng bansa para sa demokrasya sa Nobyembre. Nanawagan naman si Open Society Foundation's Chairman Alex Soros, anak ng billionaire philanthropist na si George Soros, na magkaisa ang bansa para kay Harris at talunin si Trump. Ayon kay Evercore founder Roger Altman, bilang isang Wall Street donor, nasa likod siya ni Harris at umaasang mapopondohan ng husto ang kampanya nito. Anya, biglang ginanahan ang Democratic base na tila nawala ng pag-asa kailan lang. May Fanway Zaragoza para sa Mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Humarap si United States Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle sa House Oversight Committee matapos na magpatawag ang U.S. Congress ng inquiry ukol sa tangkang pamamaril kay dating U.S. President Donald Trump.
The Secret Service's solemn mission is to protect our nation's leaders. On July 13th, we failed. As a director of the United States Secret Service, I take full responsibility for any security lapse of our agency.
Sinabi ni House Oversight Chairman James Comer na ang pagdinig ay magiging puspusan at detalyado. Dagdag pa nito na tiniyak sa kanya ni Chiril na ito ay dadalo at handang sagutin ang anumang katanungan kahit umabot pa ng 6 na oras ang pagdinig. Matapang na tinanggap ni Director of Secret Service Kimberly Chiril ang responsibilidad sa nangyaring tangkang pamamaril kay dating US President Donald Trump. Sa isinagawang inquiry ng Oversight Committee ng US House of Representatives, sinabi ni Chiril na kanilang tinatanggap ang naging kamalian nila noong July 13 sa tangkang pamamaril kay Trump.
The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades, and I am keeping him and his family in my thoughts.
What happened?
Hindi naman ito sinagot ang ilang katanungan ng ilang mambabatas kung mayroon bang kasamang iba ang suspect na si Thomas Crooks. Magugunitang umani ng batikos mula sa mambabatas ng US ang maluwag na pagbibigay ng seguridad ng Secret Service sa mga opisyal ng Estados Unidos. Ikinagalit naman ng ibang miyembro ng komite ang tila pagiging tikom ng bibig ni Chiril.
Have you talked to the counter sniper who took the shot that took out the bad guy?
Yes, I have.
And can you tell us about that conversation?
I would not want to reveal conversations that I've had with my employees.
But that's exactly the kind of information the American people want to know. American people who pay your salary.
I understand.
Hanggang ngayon patuloy pa rin ang magkabilang kampo sa pagpapatawag ng pagbitiw ng nasabing opisyal.
Take a look at what happened.
Director Cheadle, because Donald Trump is alive, and thank God he is, you look incompetent. If Donald Trump had been killed, you would have looked culpable. There is no aspect of this that indicates that there has been any protection to Donald Trump. The threat was identified before he took the stage. Not only should you resign, if you refuse to do so, President Biden needs to fire you, because his life, Donald Trump's life, and all the other people which you protect are at risk because you have no concept of the aspect that the security footprint needs to be correlated to the threat. I yield back.
Hiniling naman ng mga abogado ni dating US President Donald Trump sa New York Appeals Court na ibasura nito ang $454 million civil judgment ng trial court. Anila unconstitutional ang monetary penalty na iginawad ng trial court at sinabing wala namang naging biktima sa kasong ito ni Trump at ng mga anak nito. Argumento pa ng legal team ni Trump, walang proven injuries at walang actual harm na naipakita ang prosecution. Magsusumiti rin ng opposition papers sa susunod na buwan ng New York Attorney General's Office. Susunod, software company na CrowdStrike nalugi dahil sa global IT outage.
SpaceX napiling mag-launch ng Joint Polar Satellite System.
At kilalanin ang mga napiling magiging Olympic torch bearers ng Estados Unidos. Mga detalye ng mga balita sa pagbabalik ng Mata ng Agila International.
Alam namin ang iyong pagsisikap. Dama namin ang iyong mga sakripisyo. Kita namin ang pagharap mo sa bawat pagsubok. Kaya sa kabila ng mga hamon ng buhay, nandito kami para umalalay. Kasi katulad mo, gusto rin namin ang magandang bukas para sa kanya. Hatid namin ang dekalidad na edukasyon at makabagong pasilidad sa abot kayang halaga. Kaya huwag ka nang mangamba. Sasamahan ka namin tuparin ang mga pangarap niya. Maaasahan mong sulit dito ang mga pinagsikapan mo. sa aming mga makabagong pasilidad at sistema ng edukasyon. Mailalabas natin ang aking talino at mga kakayahan niya. Kahit sa munting halaga, makakasiguro ka na makakasabay siya sa mabilis na pag-ikot ng mundo. Sa New Era, karamay mo kami sa bawat hamon. Kaagapay mo kami sa bawat hakbang. Kasama mo kami sa bawat ngiti at tagumpay.
Nagbabalik ang mata ng Agila International sa pagpapatuloy ng ating mga balita ngayong gabi. Na-recover ng rescue crews ang higit 55 bangkay matapos ang naging landslide sa Gofa District sa Timog Ethiopia, ayon po yan sa local officials. Sinabi ni Gofa District Government Spokesperson Kasahon Abayne, bumuhos ang malakas na ulan sa lugar na naging sanhi ng landslide. Dagdag ni Abayne, 2 landslide ang naganap sa lugar, isa noong Lunes at itong alas 10 ng umaga naman ang sumunod. Inihayag naman ni Gofa District General Administrator Ms. Mitku, kasama sa mga natabuna ng lupa ay mga kababaihan, kabataan at mga pulis. Inaasahan ding tataas pa ang bilang ng mga nasawi dahil patuloy pa rin sa paghuhukay ang mga emergency rescue teams sa landslide site.
Naglandfall sa Hainan Province ang Typhoon Prapirun. Ito na ang pang-apat na bagyong pumasok sa China ayon sa local meteorological authorities. Ayon sa weather station ng China, nakararanas ngayon ng malakas na ihip ng hangin ang mga coastal areas at waters ng Hainan. Nagdeklara na ng Emergency Response Level 3 ang Meteorological Observatory of the Guangxi-Zhuang Autonomous Region. Patuloy ring minomonitor ng observatory ang lagay ng bagyo. Batay sa monitoring ng observatory, kumikilos sa direksyong pahilagang silangan ang Typhoon Prapirun sa bilis na 15 kilometers per hour. Inaasahan din na susunod na maglalandfall ang bagyo sa pagitan ng Qinzhou Province at Haiphong City ng Vietnam. Nag-anunsyo naman ang advisory ng weather stations ng Beihai, Quinzhou, Fanghejiang at Chongzuo na uulanin sila hanggang araw ng Miyerkules dahil sa bagyong Prapirun. Patay ang isang construction worker habang 3 naman ang sugatan sa biglaang pagbagsak ng crane sa Florida, US. Makikita sa inilabas na video ang pagbagsak at pagtama ng crane sa mga sasakyan na naipit sa traffic. Nawasak naman ang isang kotse sa kalsada na tinamaan ng malaking bahagi ng metal mula sa crane. Ayon sa mga otoridad, ay dakong alas 4 ng hapon noong April 4 nang mangyari ang aksidente. Nagtakbuhan naman ang ilan sa mga nagmamaneho na agad namang nakalayo at nakaligtas. Samantala, ngayon lamang inilabas ng otoridad ang naturang video dahil sa ilang sensitibong issue tungkol sa insidente.
Humaharap po ngayon ang pinakapopuladong lungsod ng Canada sa isang matindi at buhol-buhol na trapiko. Sinasabi ng mga otoridad na ang matinding trapiko sa Toronto, Canada ay krisis na dahil sa modernisasyon. Alamin natin mula kay Cherry Recolizado paano nito naaapektuhan ang pamumuhay ng mga taga-Toronto.
Isang bagong krisis ang natuklasan sa siyudad ng Toronto, matinding daloy ng trapiko. Ayon sa isang pagsasaliksik ng Toronto Region Board of Trade, umabot na sa level ng krisis ang trapiko sa siyudad. 85% ng mga respondent ay naniniwala na mayroon ngang krisis sa trapiko sa Greater Toronto Area at may negatibong epekto ito sa ekonomiya at produktibidad ng bawat isa. Ayon sa 68% ng mga respondent, ang mga construction ang pangunahing dahilan ng malalang trapiko. Pumapangalawa rito ay ang sobrang dami ng mga sasakyan at truck na bumibiyahe araw-araw. Ang krisis sa malalang trapiko ay nakaapekto rin sa mga leisure activity ng mga tao dahil kadalasan silang nag-iiba ng plano at pinipiling iwasan ang pamimili, pamamasyal at panunood ng mga sporting events. Iniiwasan rin nila ang pagkain sa labas, pati ang makita ang kanilang mga kaibigan at pamilya dahil ayaw nilang maperwisyo dala ng malalang traffic. Ito ay direktang nakakaapekto sa pagkalugi ng maraming mga retail at hospitality na mga negosyo. 42% ang nagsabi na mas mahaba na ang commute ngayon kumpara sa nakaraang taon, na siyang nakaragdag sa polusyon, stress at gastusin sa gas. Ayon sa pagsasaliksik, ang krisis na ito ay maaaring magtulak sa mga tao na mag-relocate at umalis ng Toronto. Cherry Recolisado, Toronto, Ontario, para sa Net25 News.
Bumaba ng 13% itong Lunes ang shares ng software company na CrowdStrike dahil sa naging Global Information Technology or IT outage nitong Biyernes. Ayon sa mga stock analysts, patuloy na nasa downtrend ang direksyon ng shares ng kumpanya dahil na rin ito sa trade concerns hinggil sa epekto ng global cyber outage. Magugunitang maraming mga paliparan, mga bangko, telecommunications and healthcare systems ang naapektuhan ng faulty software update ng CrowdStrike kung saan ay nag-crash ang mga computer machines na pinapaandar ng operation system ng Microsoft Windows. Ayon sa datos, ang Microsoft, nasa 8.5 million devices ang naaapektuhan ng cyber outage. Nilinaw naman ng ilang analysts na posibleng makabawi ang CrowdStrike mula sa insidente, subalit nananatili ang pinsala sa reputasyon nito at pwedeng humarap din ito sa mga legal charges.
Arestado si Kim Byung-soo, ang nagsimula ng South Korean tech giant na Kakao Corporation para sa pagmamanipula ng presyo ng stock market upang maharangan ang kanilang mga kakompetensya sa merkado. Ayon sa mga akusasyon laban sa kanya, ay kasama si Kim o mas kilala bilang Brian Kim sa pagpapalobo ng stock price ng SM Entertainment upang mawala ng interes ang kanilang karibal sa negosyo ng Hybe Entertainment na makuha ang pinag-uusapang talent agency. Ang SM Entertainment na naghahawak sa mga grupong katulad ng Super Junior, Girls' Generation, SPAD XO ay isa lamang sa naglalakihang ahensya sa major entertainment market sa South Korea. Kasama na dito ang Hybe na may hawak sa BTS, JYP na may hawak sa Twice at ITZY at YG naman na naglabas sa Blackpink. Ang Kakao Corporation naman ay isa sa pinakamalaking technology corporations ng Pilipinas magmula noong ilabas nila ang kanilang chat app noong 2010. Itinanggi naman ng kampo ni Kim ang lahat ng alegasyon laban sa kanya.
Muling pinili ng NASA ang SpaceX para maging contractor ng isang space program nito. Ito ay para mag-provide ng launch services sa Joint Polar Satellite System o JPSS program ng NOAA. Sa ilalim ng kontrata, babayaran ang SpaceX ng tinatayang $112.7 million para dalhin ang satellite system sa kalawakan sa taong 2027. Gagamitin dito ang Falcon 9 rocket ng SpaceX kung saan ay paliliparin ito sa Vandenberg Space Force Base sa California. Layo ng JPSS mission na kumuha ng solar geophysical data remotely para pag-aralan ng weather, climate, ocean, and coastal changes sa Earth sa mga susunod na taon. Samantala, may alok na makabagong interface na website ang INC Museum na pasok sa international standards. A modern at minimalist official website na museo incmuseum.net na bahagi ng 40th anniversary ng INC Museum. Pwede po ritong ma-access ng publiko ang nakamamanghang features, collections at iba pang makita sa museum ng Iglesia ni Cristo at mga events. Si Vin Pascua para sa detalye.
Sa ika-40 anibersaryo ng INC Museum, inilunsad ngayong araw, Hulyo 23, ang modern at minimalist official website ng museo, ang incmuseum.net, kung saan ino-offer sa mga internet user ang bakabagong interface ng website ng INC Museum na pasok sa international standards. Mayroon na ring access ang publiko sa mga nakamamanghang features, collections at iba pang mga makikita sa museum ng Iglesia ni Cristo, maging ang mga recent events na ginaganap dito. Mas accessible at mas binadali rin ang pag-book para sa mga nagnanais bumisita sa INC Museum.
Ito po ang homepage po ng Iglesia ni Cristo Museum website. So pag kinilik po natin ang exhibit features, pupunta po siya sa page po ng exhibit features natin. Makikita po natin ang painting, sculpture, specimen at diorama. Ngayon po, pwede rin naman po nating tingnan itong ating updates and events na kung saan po, pag kinilik natin ito, makikita po natin ang mga larawan ng event na ginawa po sa tanggapan ng museo. Sa online booking po natin, back po natin, kiklik lang po natin ang manage booking. Yan po. At ito po ang interface ng ating booking. So, lalagay po natin ang date, kung ano po ang preferred nating time, AM or PM, number of adults, ayan po, mga impormasyon. At kasama na rin po dito ang heritage sites.
Tiniyak naman ng pamunuan ng museo na secured ang data at personal information ng publiko. Vin Pascua para sa mata ng Agila International. Trusted, connected, on point.
Kinumpirma ng Marvel na naglabas sila ng ilang peking impormasyon para sa mga superhero cameo ng Deadpool and Wolverine. Ayon sa Marvel, ang kanilang naging desisyon ay paraan para makaiwas sa mga tao na naglalabas ng spoilers. Giit pa nila ay makatutulong ito para mapanatili ang sorpresa sa mga karakter na mayroon sa comic patungo sa mismong pelikula. Kasunod ito ng sinabi ng direktor ng pelikula na si Sean Levy na maraming kaabang-abang na cameo ng mga artista ang makikita sa palabas. Hula ng ilang netizens, isa po si Taylor Swift sa maaaring gumanap bilang Lady Deadpool or Mutant Dazzler. Kaagad naman itong pinabulaanan ng mga tauhan sa pelikula at sinabing hindi kabilang dito si Taylor. Samantala, nakatakdang ilabas sa mga sinihan ang Deadpool and Wolverine sa darating na July 26.
Nadadawit ngayon ang kumakandidato sa pagkapangulo ng US na si Kamala Harris sa Brat album cover ni Charlie XCX. Nagkalat naman online ang ilang post ng album kasama na ang pangalan ni Kamala Harris mula sa pagsuporta na ginagawa ng kanyang campaign account. Kasunod ito ng pagbaba ni Biden bilang kandidato sa US presidential election kung saan inendorso niya ang vice-presidente na si Harris. Agad namang nagpost si Charlie sa platform X at sinabi ang mga katagang Kamala is brat. Umani ang nasabing tweet ng mahigit sa 9 milyong views sa loob lamang ng 4 na oras. Samantala, aabot naman sa 1 milyon ngayon ang post sa TikTok na may hashtag #BratSummer kung saan ang ilan ay ginagamit ang lime green theme bilang paraan ng pagsuporta. Inanod ang tinaguriang world's rarest whale na spade-toothed sa isang pampang sa New Zealand. Patay mang natagpuan, itinuturing pa rin itong oportunidad ng mga siyentipiko upang mas mapag-aralan pa ang uri ng nasabing balyena. Dagdag pa ng mga siyentipiko, sa sobrang bihira nito ay wala pang kahit sino ang nakakitang buhay ng spade-toothed whale. Bagamat nadiskubre ang mammal noong taong 1974, inabot ng halos 4 na dekada bago malaman ng mga scientists kung ano na nga ba ang tunay na itsura nito. Sa ngayon, ipinadala na ang genetic samples ng nasabing whale sa University of Auckland habang maayos namang nakapreserve ang katawan nito para sa malalim na pag-aaral.
Agaw eksena ang Deadpool 3 character na si Dogpool sa pagsisimula ng premiere ng nasabing pelikula. Matatangdaang tinagurian si Dogpool na may original na pangalang Peggy bilang Britain's ugliest dog. Makikita sa larawan kung gaano ka-cute ang nasabing pooch or pug and Chinese crested mix sa full costume ito. Nagsimula ang premiere ng pangatlong part ng Deadpool movie series na Deadpool and Wolverine sa New York. Ang nasabing event ay dinaluhan din ng iba't ibang celebrities katulad ng mga bidang aktor na sina Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, kasama ang aktres na si Blake Lively at model na si Gigi Hadid.
Maraming royal fans ang nakakapuna ng pagkakahawig ni Prince George sa ama nitong si Prince William. Si Prince George ay panganay sa 3 anak ni na Prince William at Princess Kate. Ipinanganak siya noong July 22, 2013 sa St. Mary's Hospital sa London at ipinagdiriwang nito ngayon ang kanyang ika-11 kaarawan. Kinuna ng litrato ni Princess Kate at ibinida ang black and white photo ni Prince George sa Instagram. Ayon sa Reader's Digest, si Prince George ay may estimated net worth na 2.9 billion pounds o $3.6 billion. Ito po ay mahigit sa 210 million pesos. Pero kahit na ipinanganak na isang dugong bughaway, si Prince George ay sinasabi ng maraming royal experts na nananatiling mapagpakumbaba ang batang prinsipe. Happy 11th birthday sa iyo, Prince George.
Inilunsad na ngayon sa isang reserve area sa Colombia ang pagpapadami ng mga exotic and extinct na orchids na mula po sa buong mundo. Pinangunahan ang nasabing aktibidad ng agricultural technologist na si Daniel P. Rahit na may koleksyon ng 25,000 na uri ng iba't ibang orchids. Anya, napakahalaga na mapanatili ang mga extinct orchids na makatutulong sa lubos na pagkilala at pag-aaral sa mga ito. Dagdag pa niya, ang mga prolific orchids ay nakakapagbigay ng mga malalaking bulaklak na madalas matagpuan sa mga kagubatan. Kabilang pa sa mga orchids na kanyang pinangangalagaan ay ang Masdevallia vitcacea na makikita naman sa kagubatan ng Machu Picchu, Peru. Samantala, kinakailangan naman ng mga tamang pwesto, oras at kapaligiran ang mga orchids para tumubo at lumaki ang mga ito.
Bubuksang muli sa mga turista ang Path of Love sa Italy matapos ang 12 taon na pagsasara. Tinaguri ang romantic trail ang nasabing tourist spot na magbubukas sa July 27 kung saan libu-libong mga tao ang nagnanais na bumisita. Ang pagsasara ng Path of Love ay nagsimula matapos gumuho ng lupa noong September 2012 na naging dahilan ng pagkasugat ng 4 na Australians. Kasunod nito ay pinasara ang lugar para isaayos at maglagay din ng safety measures sa mga panahon ng kalamidad. Aabot naman sa 800 meters ang kailangang lakarin sa matarik na daan kung saan makikita ang breathtaking view ng Ligurian Sea. Samantala, maaaring magbayad ang mga turista online o sa park's ticket booth para makapasok sa lugar na limitadong bilang ng ticket na 400.
Ayan, pwede na tayo ulit pumunta doon.
Ayan na naman, nagpaparamdam na naman ang Europa sa atin. Ngayon naman, Path of Love.
Diba?
Wow! Ano kayang mga nadidiscover dyan along the way?
Ako, dun, malalaman natin siguro, kailangan natin planuhin para talagang totoo na yung pag sinasabi natin nagbabalita sa amang dako ng mundo.
Yun nga, parang kailangan mag-ipon-ipon na tayo, Ricky, dahil
diba?
Marami na tayong iikutin na kasi ang dami na nating na-feature na ganyan, di ba? May Espanya, ito naman, Italia.
Or pwede sumama tayo minsan kay President Cesar dahil sa open for business niya.
Ay, totoo yan.
Diba? Nagka-travel siya anywhere. Mali mo, maisama tayo around the world.
Tama.
Sa
Tingin ko pagkatapos ng programa, dapat ay minamessage na natin si PCRV.
Yeah. Ayan. Naku, saan man kaya tayo dadali ngayon ni Alma? Dahil alam ko, hitik na hitik din ang mga balitang dala niya. Subalit tandaan, narito po kami ni Nina para maghatid ng balita sa amang dako ng mundo. Ngayon, mula sa Quezon City sa susunod. Baka mula na sa Europa. Muli, ako po si Ricky Matay.
At ako naman si Nina Richie Elago Flores. Ito ang Mata ng Agila International. Para sa mga balitang nangyari sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo, punta naman tayo kay Alma Angeles para sa Net 25 World News. Take it away, Alma.
Thanks, Nina and Ricky. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Net 25 World News. I'm Alma Angeles, leading our newscast tonight. Harris on the campaign trail. Vice President Kamala Harris is ramping up her presidential campaign with a crucial rally in Wisconsin today, and she secured endorsements from key Democratic figures and is now looking to sway voters in this battleground state. Diplomatic tensions in Southeast Asia. Foreign ministers from across the region are gathering in Laos for high-stakes talks. The South China Sea dispute and the Myanmar crisis will be at the top of the agenda, with a potential U.S.-China meeting on the sidelines. And typhoon threatening Taiwan. Taiwan has adjusted its annual war games due to the approaching Typhoon Gaimi. The powerful storm is expected to bring heavy rains and strong winds to the island later this week. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris launched her election campaign Monday with a blistering personal attack on Donald Trump. Harris is vowing to win in November despite the shock of President Joe Biden's sudden exit from the race. Thomas I. Likeness for more. The head of the U.S. Secret Service has acknowledged that the agency failed in its mission to prevent the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. But Kimberly Shettle rejected bipartisan calls for her resignation. E.J. Gonzalez reports.
It is my intention to go out and earn this nomination and to win.
With that, Harris hit the ground running in her quest to become the first woman to win the U.S. presidency. Within 24 hours of Biden's withdrawal from the race and his endorsement of Harris, she has raised a record $81 million. She also has the support of a number of Democrat heavyweights. Harris took to the road Monday to meet with her campaign team. Now, these are the same people who have spent months working to re-elect Biden. Harris told the team that she will take on her old role as prosecutor while out campaigning, recounting the types of people that she took on while she was an attorney general.
Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
The 81-year-old Biden called into the campaign meeting and made his first public remarks in nearly a week as he recovers from a bout of COVID. He said that dropping out had been the right thing to do, and he praised Harris as the best. Biden also directly addressed Harris.
I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
Meanwhile, Trump has seemingly found it hard to move on from Biden. He launched a series of invective-filled social media posts after Biden quit, mocking the president's age and saying that Biden and Harris posed a threat to democracy. At a rally in Ohio Monday, Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, also attacked Harris.
Don't give her a chance to run away from the Biden record. The Biden record is the Kamala Harris record, and given what we know about Joe Biden, Kamala Harris probably did a lot more than Joe Biden does over the last 3.5 years.
Harris is closing in on the Democratic Party's nomination with the support of a slew of heavyweights and massive voter donations. The major AFL-CIO union federation also gave her its formal endorsement on Monday. Biden's stunning withdrawal has completely upended the 2024 race, transforming a long slog between two unpopular elderly men into one of the most compelling races in modern U.S. history. The move has jolted a demoralized party that Harris could now unify and could give America its first female president. It's also hit the Republicans hard. Former President Trump, who is 78, is now the oldest presidential nominee in American history. He will have to completely retool a strategy that had been built around attacking Biden over his age and physical frailty. Harris's entry not only flips the age issue, it puts Trump, a convicted felon also found liable of sexual assault, up against a woman and a former prosecutor. Thomas I. Likeness, Net 25 World News.
I know Donald Trump's type.
The head of the U.S. Secret Service has acknowledged that the agency failed in its mission to prevent the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. But Kimberly Shettle rejected bipartisan calls for her resignation. E.J. Gonzalez reports.
Shettle told a hearing of the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability that the attack on Trump is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades.
The Secret Service's solemn mission is to protect our nation's leaders. On July 13th, we failed. As a director of the United States Secret Service, I take full responsibility for any security lapse of our agency.
Trump was slightly wounded in his right ear while speaking at a campaign rally. 2 rally attendees suffered serious gunshot wounds, and a 50-year-old Pennsylvania firefighter, Corey Kemperator, died in the gunfire. Shettle drew the ire of lawmakers from both parties by refusing to provide specific details about the attack, such as in this exchange with Republican Congressman James Comer.
Did y'all deny President Trump's request for more security, yes or no? And when was the most recent request for additional security?
The rally request for security, all of those requests were fulfilled.
At any point Saturday, did the Secret Service have an agent on top of that roof?
Sir, I'm sure as you can imagine that we are just 9 days out from this incident, and there's still an ongoing investigation. And so I want to make sure that any information that we are providing to you is factual.
You can't, okay. Why did the Secret Service not, can you answer why the Secret Service didn't place a single agent on the roof?
We are still looking into the advanced process and the decisions that were made.
Okay.
In declining to provide specifics, Shettle cited the existence of multiple active investigations. As the hearing went on, she continued to evade questions from Republican Congressman Jim Jordan.
Have you talked to the counter sniper who took the shot that took out the bad guy?
Yes, I have.
And can you tell us about that conversation?
I would not want to reveal conversations that I've had with my employees.
But that's exactly the kind of information the American people want to know. American people who pay your salary.
I understand.
Both Republicans and Democrats called on Shettle to resign, including Republican Congressman Michael Turner.
Director Shettle, because Donald Trump is alive, and thank God he is, you look incompetent. If Donald Trump had been killed, you would have looked culpable. There is no aspect of this that indicates that there has been any protection to Donald Trump. The threat was identified before he took the stage, and the shooter was only killed after Donald Trump himself was killed. Not only should you resign, if you refuse to do so, President Biden needs to fire you, because his life, Donald Trump's life, and all the other people which you protect are at risk because you have no concept of the aspect that the security footprint needs to be correlated to the threat.
How could this happen?
And I can tell you, you're not making my job easier in terms of assessing your qualification for continuing on as director. Please answer the question. You're the head of the Secret Service.
You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest.
She rebuffed the demands, saying she believes she is the best person to lead the Secret Service at this time. Shettle served as a Secret Service agent for 27 years before leaving in 2021 to become the head of security in North America for PepsiCo. President Joe Biden named her to head the agency in 2022. E.J. Gonzalez for Net 25 World News.
Taiwan has scaled back its annual Han Kuang military exercises as Typhoon Gaimi bears down on the island. The typhoon is expected to bring heavy rains and strong winds when it makes landfall later this week. The drills, which began on Monday, are a crucial part of Taiwan's defense strategy and growing tensions with China. However, the approaching storm has forced the military to adjust its plans. Defense Ministry spokesman Sun Linfang stated that the military will modify exercise missions based on weather conditions.
好，我想这次台风的来袭啊，基本上在演习期间
在演习之前，我们在计划里面把这个部分有可能会产生的影响都已经纳入计划里面。那么整体的演习是依照我们统裁部的训令，以及我们天然灾害应变的一些现行作业程序来去执行跟分配。
Dressed in military fatigues, President Lai Ching-te on Tuesday looked on as soldiers went through a simulated mass casualty rescue exercise at the Hualien Air Force Base, where skies were blue and rain-free. Lai, who is a staunch defender of Taiwan's democracy, is regarded as a dangerous separatist by China. 3 days after he was sworn into office in May, China launched war games simulating an encirclement of the island as punishment for his inauguration speech, which Beijing said was a confession of Taiwan independence. China has said it would never renounce the use of force to bring Taiwan under its control and maintains a near-daily military presence around the island by sending in warplanes, Navy vessels, and drones. The Pentagon warned today that Russia and China are teaming up more often in the Arctic, where melting ice is opening new sea routes and access to valuable resources. Russia has been steadily expanding its military footprint in the Arctic, reopening and upgrading Cold War-era bases. Meanwhile, China has invested heavily in Arctic research and exploration.
More troubling, we've seen growing cooperation between the PRC and Russia in the Arctic. Commercially, with the PRC being a major funder of Russian energy exploitation in the Arctic, and increasingly militarily, with Russia and China conducting joint exercises off the coast of Alaska. All of these challenges have been amplified because the effects of climate change are rapidly warming temperatures and thinning ice coverage, and it's enabling all of this activity. So we must have a strategy that ensures our military readiness in the face of these changes, ensuring our ability to quickly respond to threats in the region and to the overall demands they place on our force.
The accelerating pace of ice melt has intensified competition for the region's resources and shipping lanes, complicating territorial claims. China and Russia both defended their policies on the region on Tuesday.
As a key stakeholder in Arctic affairs, China upholds the principle of respect, cooperation, win-win results, and sustainability in participating in Arctic affairs, enhances cooperation with all sides, and stays committed to enhancing peace and stability in the region and promoting sustainable development in the Arctic. The U.S. distorts and misreads China's Arctic policies and points fingers at normal activities in the Arctic carried out by China in accordance with international law. It is not conducive to Arctic peace, stability, and cooperation. China firmly opposes it. Next one.
Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Russia does its part to ensure that the Arctic does not become a territory of discord and tension. He told reporters that Russia's cooperation with China contributes to an atmosphere of stability and predictability in the Arctic, and their actions were not targeted against other countries. Moscow has modernized its military infrastructure in the region by reopening and upgrading Soviet-era bases, while Beijing has invested heavily in scientific research and exploration. The thawing of the Arctic, driven by climate change, has opened up new possibilities for resource extraction and shipping, sparking intense competition among nations with overlapping territorial claims.
I think what I would say is it's very noticeable and concerning, both individually. The Russians, of course, have, even as they've continued their operation, their war in Ukraine, they've been continuing to invest in their infrastructure throughout the Arctic region that they can access. And then we've seen much more PRC activity, both in terms of so-called research, but because of their civil fusion, we always have concern that there's a military aspect to that, and also in terms of their activities, for instance, with the Russians, in terms of bomber patrols, maritime, etc.
Wildfires are burning out of control in several western U.S. states, including California and Utah, as a blistering heat wave blankets the region. Tens of millions of people are under heat alerts. In California, firefighters are battling dozens of blazes, including one near Los Angeles that has forced evacuations and destroyed homes. Governor Gavin Newsom warns this is just the start of a severe wildfire season.
We are already experiencing a disproportionately high number of acres burned, not fires started. We're seeing, unsurprisingly, predictably, because of the rains, those late rains in particular, a lot of grasses turning into brush fires. So these tend to burn out but move pretty quickly. That said, lightning is not our friend. We're anticipating some lightning strikes this weekend up in the Sierras. We saw abnormality of lightning strikes in the Central Valley, particularly around Fresno, earlier in the season than we're typically seeing them. There's nothing, again, typical. Hots, we say it all the time, are getting a lot hotter, experiencing unprecedented record heat. These heat domes over the entire western United States, over and over and over and over and over again, record-breaking temperatures, record-breaking experiences, not just in California, across this country and around the rest of the world.
Neighboring states are also struggling. Oregon is fighting multiple fires, including a massive blaze that has burned through over 100,000 acres. And in Utah, a wildfire near Salt Lake City prompted evacuations. Scientists say these extreme weather events are becoming more frequent due to climate change. All flights in and out of Catania Airport have been grounded due to volcanic ash from Mount Etna. The airport operator made the announcement on social media advising passengers to contact their airlines for the latest flight information. Mount Etna, Europe's tallest active volcano, has been particularly active in recent weeks. An earlier eruption forced the airport to close on July 5th. The National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology reported an ash column reaching 5 miles high earlier today. However, a later update indicated that ash emissions are now confined to the volcano's summit. Croatia in a state of shock after a gunman opened fire in a nursing home, killing at least 6 people. Police described Monday's shooting as a rare instance of gun violence in the Balkan country. Ralph Coronel tells us more.
The gunfire claimed the lives of 5 residents and 1 employee. Police say the gunman entered the private nursing home in the eastern town of Darovar around 10 o'clock in the morning and went on a shooting rampage. He then fled the scene. Police later arrested him at a cafe where he had unregistered firearms in his possession. Croatian National Police Chief Nikolai Milina says the man had a previous police record for disturbing public order and domestic abuse. Officials say 5 people died at the scene and a 5th died after being transported to a hospital.
Imamo 6 smrtno stradalih osoba, imamo 6 ozlijeđenih osoba. Dakle, da policija vrlo brzo nakon događaja, odnosno i same dojave, pronašla i utvrdila počinitelja ovog teškog kaznenog djela. Radilo bi se o tome da je 5 štićenika i da je jedna osoba praktično djelatna osoba.
Prime Minister Andrej Plenković called the slayings a monstrous act. Police have not confirmed if the gunman's mother was among the victims, as the Prime Minister suggested. But 20 people lived at the home. In the wake of the shooting, police have sealed off the private nursing home located along a quiet street, where a small crowd gathered and watched as forensic teams entered the residence. The motive of the shooting is not known. Local media reported the suspected shooter was a retired military police officer who had fought in Croatia's War of Independence during the bloody breakup of Yugoslavia from 1991 to 1995. Ralph Cornell for Net25 World News.
The billionaire founder of South Korean tech giant Kakao has been arrested. Kim Bum-soo is accused of manipulating stock prices to gain control of K-pop entertainment company SM Entertainment. Kakao, a major player in South Korea's digital landscape, owns everything from the country's most popular messaging app to its largest taxi hailing service. The company made a significant move last year by becoming the biggest shareholder of SM Entertainment, home to global K-pop sensation BTS. Prosecutors allege that Kakao artificially inflated the entertainment stock price to block a takeover attempt by rival music company HYBE. This, they say, was done through repeated purchases of SM shares at inflated prices. A Seoul court issued an arrest warrant for Kim Bum-soo, citing concerns he might tamper with evidence. Other Kakao executives are also under investigation. The arrest of the company's founder is expected to have major implications for Kakao, which is at the forefront of South Korea's AI development. Experts say the company may face challenges in leadership and focus as it navigates this legal crisis. Southeast Asian foreign ministers are convening in Laos for urgent talks, and the meeting will focus on escalating tensions in the South China Sea and the ongoing crisis in Myanmar. High-level diplomatic discussions between China and the U.S. are also expected on the sidelines when Net 25 World News returns.
It is a signal to the world that we are open for business.
Open for Business with Cesar Vallejos, every Sunday, 9 p.m.
Sunday 25.
Ang mga maiinit na balita
at rumaratsyad ang usapan ng bayan,
ihahatid namin sa 100%!
100% ang pagbabalita!
100% talakayan!
Lunes hanggang Biyernes!
Alas 5 hanggang alas 7 ng umaga!
Live na live sa Radyo Agila 1062 Mega Manila!
At sa Net 25! 100%!
Sa Net 25, let's net together. Sa Net 25.
Nakakalungkot po eh.
Bakit?
Nasunog po yung kanin. Naiwanan ni Tita Mocha yung stove nakabukas eh.
Yung wallet ko kasi, nakalimutan ko yata.
Ang bad news, Dad, wala pang gamot ang Alzheimer's.
Binago-bago ba nila yung mga paninda? Bakit wala na hinahanap ko?
Hindi ba dapat maghanap tayo ng isang ospital or institution na pwedeng maalagaan siya ng maayos?
Iaalis mo dito sa Tita Mocha? Teka. Alam niyo, naguguluhan ako sa sinasabi niyo. Bakit ba umiakap-akap pa kayo? Wala na ba yung hinahanap ko? Masasama ugali niyo, nalagago kayong lahat ah!
Pati siya?
Hindi ko kamag-anak yan! Kamukha mo ba? Bakit, di ba? Bakit kayong kabanding? Ayoko na sa inyo!
Let's net together. Sa Net 25. Sa Net 25.
Southeast Asian leaders are gathering in Laos this week to tackle pressing regional issues. High on the agenda are the escalating tensions in the South China Sea and the ongoing crisis in Myanmar. Now, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi are also set to meet on the sidelines. The South China Sea has become a major flashpoint with increased aggression from China, leading to confrontations with other claimant nations like the Philippines.
On Wednesday, Secretary Blinken will depart for his 18th trip as Secretary to the Indo-Pacific region, traveling to Vietnam, Laos, Japan, the Philippines, Singapore, and Mongolia. From day one, this administration has made deepening our engagement with Indo-Pacific partners a top priority. And on this trip, the Secretary will continue to advance our vision of a free, open, and prosperous region. In Hanoi, Secretary Blinken will attend the funeral of General Secretary Nguyen Phu Cham and offer condolences to the people of Vietnam. He will further underscore the strength of the comprehensive strategic partnership with his government counterparts. In Vientiane, Secretary Blinken will participate in ASEAN-related foreign ministers' meetings, including co-chairing the ASEAN-US and Mekong-US Partnership Foreign Ministers' meetings. The Secretary will emphasize our steadfast support for ASEAN centrality and the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific. He will also discuss topics including enhancing our economic cooperation, combating the climate crisis, and addressing the ongoing crisis in Burma. In Tokyo, Secretary Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin will join their Japanese counterparts to build on the success of Prime Minister Kishida's historic official visit to Washington in April by participating in a foreign and defense ministerial dialogue to reaffirm the critical importance of the U.S.-Japan alliance. They will also continue to build on the momentum of the U.S.-Japan, Republic of Korea, and U.S.-Japan-Philippines trilateral cooperation. The officials will later hold an extended deterrence ministerial meeting during which they will discuss bilateral cooperation to further strengthen U.S. extended deterrence bolstered by Japan's defense capabilities.
In the midst of the global economic slowdown and ongoing geopolitical conflicts, the situation in East Asia is generally stable and regional economic integration is making steady progress. People from regional countries share the aspiration toward and call for keeping this region an engine of development and peace setup of cooperation. Through the ASEAN Plus Foreign Ministers meeting, China looks to further building up consensus and preparing the ground for the political conditions and outcomes of the leaders' meetings on East Asian cooperation in October. We stand ready to work with regional countries to champion the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence and promote regional peace, stability, development, and prosperity. Accelerate negotiations on the China-ASEAN Free Trade Agreement 3.0, galvanize high-quality Belt and Road cooperation, make the China-ASEAN Year of People-to-People exchanges a success, and foster a closer China-ASEAN community with a shared future, promote the high-quality implementation of the regional comprehensive economic partnership, make regional industrial and supply chains more stable and unimpeded, expand cooperation in emerging industries, advance regional economic integration, and champion the universally beneficial inclusive economic globalization, firmly support ASEAN unity and ASEAN community building, uphold an open and inclusive regional architecture with ASEAN at its center, call for an equal and orderly multipolar world, properly address hotspot and sensitive issues, and inject more stability and positive energy into.
The recent attack on a Philippine vessel has heightened tensions. Meanwhile, the Myanmar junta continues to face international isolation over its brutal crackdown on dissent following the 2021 coup. ASEAN, which includes Myanmar, has struggled to find a solution to the crisis. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin III will visit Manila on July 30 for high-level talks on foreign affairs and defense. The Department of Foreign Affairs announced that the two U.S. officials will meet with Department of National Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. and DFA Secretary Enrique Manalo for the 4th Philippine-U.S. Foreign and Defense Ministerial Dialogue, also known as the 2+2 Dialogue. In a statement released on Monday night, July 22, the DFA highlighted the agenda for this year's dialogue. The four secretaries are expected to discuss ways to strengthen the alliance between the two countries, support a rules-based international order, enhance economic ties, promote broad-based prosperity, and address evolving regional and global security challenges. Tropical signal number 2 is now hoisted over several areas in Batanes as Typhoon Carina slightly intensifies, according to Pag-asa. Take a look.
Huli pong namataan ang sentro nitong si Bagyong Carina sa layong 325 kilometers east-northeast of Basco, Batanes. Taglay nito ang maximum sustained winds na 150 kilometers per hour, so bagyang lumakas pa po ito at meron itong gustiness na hanggang 185 kilometers per hour. Inaasahan po natin na kikilos ito north-northwest sa susunod po na 12 oras, and by tomorrow ay kikilos po ito pahilagang kanluran or paangat po na pakaliwa. Ine-expect natin bukas ng hapon ay nasa 390 kilometers na ito, hilaga-hilagang silangan po ng Itbay at Batanes. At pagsapit naman po ng madaling araw ng Thursday, nandun na siya sa may northern portion of Taiwan at lalabas na rin po ng ating Philippine Area of Responsibility. Kaya naman po nakataas na yung ating Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 2 dito sa Batanes. Makakaranas po sila ng minor to moderate threat to life and property. So meron tayong mga pagbugso ng hangin sa loob po na 12 oras. Habang meron tayong signal number 1 or malalakas na hangin hanggang bukas sa ilan pang bahagi po ng norte, kabilang ng Cagayan, kabilang ang Babuyan Islands, eastern portion of Isabela, kabilang ng Divilacan, Palanan, Maconacon, Dinapigue, Tumawini, Ilagan City, San Mariano, Cabagan, San Pablo, and Santa Maria. Meron din tayong signal number 1 sa northern portion po of Apayao, Calanasan, Luna, Puntol, Flora, gayon din ang Santa Marcela and Cabugao. Hanggang dito sa may northern portion of Ilocos Norte, signal number 1 din po, kabilang ang Pagudpod, Banggi, Adams, Dumalneg, Burgos, Vintar, Pasukin, Bacara, and Karachi.
Japan is experiencing a tourism surge with visitor numbers surpassing pre-pandemic levels by 1 million in the first half of 2024.
Yes, of course, yeah. You know, I've been working in this industry for like 5 years, like I said, so before COVID and after COVID. The after COVID is actually crazy. We get so much more people right now, especially like March, April, May. I was really busy. And people from everywhere. Not only Asian countries, but also a lot of like Americans, Europeans as well, so it's getting more and more popular to visit Japan, I think.
Well, I mean, this country is beautiful, but the yen definitely being so weak, we knew our money would go a long ways. And the culture here, we wanted to come visit and see what you guys had to offer. So my wife is a teacher, and it's her summer vacation, so that's the main reason we're here now. Also, the yen being pretty weak, but we were in London a couple months ago, and it was more crowded than this. So
the weak yen has lured a record 17.78 million tourists, boosting the economy but also straining popular destinations. While the government aims to double visitor numbers by 2030, concerns over overcrowding and tourist misconduct are mounting. Popular spots like Kyoto and Mount Fuji are grappling with large crowds, prompting restrictions and fee increases. Local residents are growing wary of unruly behavior, forcing authorities to implement crowd control measures and even ban tourists from certain areas. As Japan seeks to balance economic gains with preserving its cultural heritage, the challenge of managing mass tourism is becoming increasingly pressing. And that's it for tonight's broadcast. For everyone here on Net 25, I'm Alma Angeles. Thank you for joining us. Good night.